and family fun. Today, you may notice that I'm outside. And today, we are going to do our reading lab. So the first one we're going to do is Little Miss Chatterbox. We are doing that. We only have one more book to read of these series. See? Let's start. Little Miss Chatterbox talks more than a lot. She talks all the time, day in and day out, a week after week, month after month, year in, year out. See, she never stops. She didn't know it, but she even talked in her sleep. Oh, so she's talking in her sleep. She had a brother. I bet you can guess what his name was. Can you? Do you guys know what it is? Mr. Chatterbox. She looks a bit like him, don't you think? You should have heard them when they got together. She couldn't get a word in edgeways, or sideways, or anyways. This is her brother. Have you heard about anything being able to talk the hind leg off the donkey? Well, Mr. Chatterbox can talk both hind legs off the donkey. And his sister could talk the hind leg off of an elephant. Now, this story is about the time Little Miss Chatterbox decided to get herself a job. Well, she did, in a bank, in a happy land. At 10 o'clock one day morning, Mr. Happy strolled into Happy to Landview Bank in the middle of Happy Town. He took out his checkbook, wrote a check, and went to the counter. Behind the counter on her first morning at work stood Little Miss Chatterbox. She smiled at Mr. Happy. Mr. Happy smiled back. "Good morning," he said cheerfully, while Little Miss Chatterbox taking a deep breath. For this first time of the year, it is a good morning, but not as good as the morning we had yesterday, and I dare to say tomorrow morning will be an even better, but it's quite a good morning for a Monday morning. But then she went on and on and on until it was time for the bank to close. Mr. Happy was still standing there with his mouth open in amaze. He'd been there for hours. They're definitely not hiring her. "And now," continued Little Miss Chatterbox, "it's time for the bank to close and time for you to go home. So goodbye and nice talking to you." And she went home, leaving poor Mr. Happy without any money. The following morning, she was fired. Knew it. She got herself another job in a restaurant, the Eat-A-Lot. It was Tuesday morning, and at noon, Mr. Greedy walked into the restaurant and sat himself down at the usual corner table. He always ate there on Thursdays because it was the day they served extra large portions. Let's see. The waitress came up and took his order. "What's the soup of the day?" Mr. Greedy asked the waiter. "Oh, she's the waitress. You don't know what a waitress is? They take your order." "Well," said Little Miss Chatterbox, "for she was the waitress. The soup of the day is tomato, but we also have other soups of the menu, such as oxtail and vegetable and chicken noodle. We have lots of other things to start as." Then she went on and on until midnight. Mr. Greedy was still standing there listening in amazement. He had been there for 12 hours listening. "And now," continued Little Miss Chatterbox, "it's time for the Eat-A-Lot restaurant to close and for me and you to go home. So goodbye, and it's nice talking to you." And she went home, leaving poor Mr. Greedy feeling rather empty. You don't know what rather empty means? It's like she's really hungry. The next morning, she was fired. Exactly. Obviously, she's fired. She hasn't got a single order. Same thing happened all week long. On Thursday morning, she was fired from her job as an assistant in a hat shop. What could be so hard about a hat shop? That's not even that hard. Mrs. Spundid went to the shop to buy herself a new hat. but she couldn't. Oh, madame, I just have the hat for you. And you know you're going to love it because it's pink, and pink is your color. And it was all talk and no hat. She's really fancy. On Friday morning, she was fired from her job as a secretary to Mr. Upbeat. Mr. Upbeat was accidentally the richest man in the world, and I just thought you'd like to know. But poor Mr. Upbeat didn't make any money the day that little Miss Chatterbox was working for him. Oh, no. Oh, Mr. Umpty, I've never worked in an office before and isn't excited. Would you like a cup of coffee? Are you rich as everyone? It says, and it was no talk. It was talk, no work. But this story has a happy ending because at the very end that last week, Mr. managed to find herself that job, sending her to the ground and up to the sky. It's supposed to be a happy job. That Saturday evening, where Mr. Johnny was at home in the Chatterbox cottage which she lived, Mr. Chatterbox was mad because his watch had stopped, and he had arranged to meet Little Miss Sunshine at 7 o'clock. He had no idea what time it was, so he decided to call the time to find out what time it was. He dialed the number. At the tone of the time, it would be 60, 25, and 15 seconds. Little Miss Chatterbox took a deep breath. Beep! And at the tone of the time will be 60, 25, and 26. Beep! That's funny, thought Mr. Chatterbox to herself. It sounds like my sister. You can see at the back. Well, that was the Little Miss Chatterbox. She loved to talk. Bye, guys. By the way, if you know where I'm standing, I put my phone on the stove. Yeah, this is... And... basically... yeah. Here's my sister.